Tere, hea Armastusest kuulaja. Sellel korral on lood natuke teistsugused kui muidu meie podcasti osadega. Ja kuna armastus on ka ettearvamatu, siis me võtsime endale vabaduse ja tegime Veikoga ka kokkuleppe, et ka meie sarja võib mõnusasti tulla ootamatusi sisse. Nii et täna esimest korda tuleb teile kuulamiseks inglisekeelne osa ja saatekülaliseks on Laraaji, artist, kes on minu kõrvu paitanud ja mind inspireerinud juba aastaid. Ja kui ma siis kuulsin siin talvel, et Idaraadio toob härra Eestisse, siis ma olin kohe väga õnnelik ja erutatud ja mõtlesin, et päris tore oleks peale selle, et kontsertist osa saada, natukene ka Laraajiga juttu rääkida. Ja nii läkski, et kui hästi soovida, siis soovid täituvad. Aga neile, kes Laraajiga tuttavad ei ole, siis ma paar sõna räägin, et ta on üks selline juba üle 70 härrasmees, kes minu teadvusesse tuli tegelikult läbi meditatsioonide ja läbi võib-olla selliste joogaringkondade. Nii et mina olen tema spirituaalset muusikat, mis on siis nii-öelda spirituaalse puudutusega, aga vägagi ka tantsumuusika ja selline elektrooniline miks maailma muusika segudest. Nii et Laraaji, kes siis 70ndate lõpul tegelikult avastati Washingtonist Brian Eno poolt ja pärast seda ka stuudiosse salvestama veeti heas mõttes, on sellest ajast saati teinudki muusikat, mis on siis kosmilise päritoluga tema enda sõnul, et tema lihtsalt vahendab seda. Ja mul on väga hea meel, et Eestisse jõudis ta heas mõttes hoopis teist teed pidi, et Idaraadio ta siia tõi ja et temaga siin talve lõpus niimoodi mõnusasti kuuruumis kohtuda saime ja rääkida natuke nii armastusest kui teest ja kõigest sellest, mis tuli. Nii et päris selline ootamatu ja eklektiliselt äge salvestus on see. Tunnen ma. Head kuulamist.
You such a cool, such a cool, such a guy. Go to catch a camel, every charge, cottage, a beach, a jack, fine. Shanti, shanti, shanti.
Has anyone offered you tea in this setting before?
The closest to this has been a Japanese tea ceremony maybe 20 years ago.
Wow.
This is fresh and new to me.
So what happened in between those 20 years? No one poured tea?
Have anyone to connect me with the Japanese tea ceremony people. I used to know some people part of a Buddhist monk tradition, and I was friends with them, and they invited me to the opening of their new temple with a tea ceremony, which was so elegant and soft and gentle.
I'm glad to hear that someone at least has poured some tea into you. There's a saying in our lineage that if there's tea in you, then in a way you are saved, or that's good.
Oh.
So I'm glad there's some in you, and I'm glad to offer you some more. if you're willing to accept. How do people call you? Laraaji?
They call me Laraaji. If you are on an airport and you want to know my passenger name,
Then it's Edward.
Edward Gordon.
But if someone screams from the other side of the street, like Edward,
Laraaji.
Laraaji. Let it be Laraaji, I love it.
And you?
Elina.
Elina.
Yes. Is it hard to pronounce my name?
Not now. Now I've got it.
So, this is not the Japanese tea ceremony, or it's not a ceremony, but I'm gonna offer you some tea in a ceremonial way.
Yes.
But at the same time, as you see, or as people can hear, we are also recording our conversation. So we are multitasking in a way. This is not what I'm doing usually when I pour tea.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, this is a nice exception. And actually, I chose a tea for us, and it's called Temple Gate.
Temple Gate, the name of the tea we're about to have a ceremony with.
When I heard that you're coming to Estonia, then I went to your homepage.
Yes.
And I noticed that you travel so much. How do you do that?
Day by day, minute, step by step. And I like what I do, so the moment of performance or guiding a workshop allows me to be a very active channeling. So that's my energy, that's my food, that's what feeds me, sharing and offering the moment of music, the moment of laughter, the moment of deep, quiet, inner stillness. So that drives me. That's how I do it, because I'm driven.
When was the first time you realized this is your journey, this is your path?
I didn't give it thought, but I don't guess anything. When did I realize my journey? Yes, I'm glad you asked that question, because it allows me to bring to the surface. It was while working after school, high school, in a clothing store. And during that time, I was planning to go to college and become an engineer or a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
But that night at the clothing store, it was very slow, and so the salesmen were around me holding conversations. And they mentioned that there was a black university that was very good for music.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard it, I shifted right there. I said, that's what I want to do with my life. Music. I don't want to be a scientist. So that is the point. And I've not related to that point before until you asked that question.
Wow.
That was the point. I made the shift and decided.
So I wanted to ask about your teacher. Who do you call your teacher?
A mentor and a guide, several. First that I was aware of was Jesus the Christ, that was presented to me as a young, that inspired me to want to do things with my life that would serve my fellow beings. Then somewhere around my 20th birthday, I started looking into Eastern philosophy and yoga and meditation. And there were several teachers out there who I listened to, from Rajneesh Osho to Krishnamurti to Baba Ram Das, the Bible, Imel tablets. I then became aware of something called metaphysics and mind science, and the teacher of Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker and Thomas Troward. Thomas Troward was at Edinburgh, a Scottish judge, but he lectured on mental science. So for a while, mental science or mind science showed me that if we can image it, we can create it for ourselves. So that fascinated me. So about 1972 to 1975, I just delved into the practice of what's called mind science treatments, which is you actually treat yourself to the imagery and to the positivity of the thing you want. And just drill yourself to change your emotional and belief patterns. Then somewhere along the way, and I met a Sri Brahmananda Saraswati, Swami Satchidananda. These were some Eastern Hindu-oriented teachers who were teaching yoga and meditation and opening my awareness to the presence that we are eternal, that our true self is never born and never dies, which is the pure I am, the I am before we put a title or a name on it, that this self is constantly where we are. And the teaching is to embrace this through meditation, concentration, self-analysis, till you come to a place of dwelling, even if for half an hour a day, in this heightened awareness.
So is meditation now also part of your daily life?
No, it's all of my daily life. But what happens along the way that I lift up out of early ideas of what meditation is. I thought meditation was sitting in cross-legged position and letting some higher sensation of reality come into consciousness. As I grew into my own meditation, finding my own meditative place, I discovered I can take meditation while I'm performing, while I'm walking, while I'm driving a car. And so that makes meditation, my whole day is meditation. Not just about sitting down with eyes closed. It's here, now. And learning to, as the teacher, Sri Brahmananda Saraswati taught, that our goal is meditative understanding, learning how to bring the understanding that we achieve through meditation into practice in our daily life. And it's not about changing the way you do things. It's about letting yourself become clear of who this you is so that you do things differently in the world. That you operate with a more expansive understanding, a more compassionate understanding, and a more positive understanding. So that this meditative understanding is everywhere that I bring it and give it expression, even through the way that I operate musical instruments. To operate a musical instrument with a meditative understanding can produce meditative soundscapes.
How is it that there are people who discover that there's more to life than just that what we see, and then there are other people who, I don't know, in a way doesn't understand it or don't see it or don't feel it? How is it possible?
Well, in pure I am, right where you are, if you hold up inside the I am without accepting any more titles, I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, I'm not an American, I'm not a doctor, just I am. And let this resonance swell up inside of consciousness, you have a meditative understanding, and inside my meditative understanding, I see that everyone is there now. Just some of us don't know it, some of us are distracted from it, but everyone is there now. And the ones who aren't there, aren't seeing it, are ones who are, for some reason, they're thrust into a life of constant distraction. And although they are there, they don't see that they're there. There are some ways that people can open up spontaneously and see, I'm here. This is where it is. If we're using thinking mind, linear thought process, we overshoot, we overextend, and we miss the pure I am. If we're too busy in the I am and titles, we forget about the pure I am. There's value, there's gold in them Dar hills. The pure I am is the way that we stop the nonsense. You don't go out in the world and try to fix the nonsense. If you come into the self, the pure original self, and just be here, you have a different understanding of what needs to be fixed or what doesn't need to be fixed, or what's wrong or what's not wrong, or what have you lost and what you have not lost. So one set of persons, they see, they're there, they know how to practice staying here, they know how to stop leaving. Another set, they're there, but they keep leaving. So the distractions that say, hey, over here, over here. And not long enough are they just still enough to see that they're there now.
You said that it was in your 20s or somewhere at that point when you started to look into different philosophies and traditions. But do you remember that certain point when your eyes were open?
Yes, and I have to talk about it as it, because it's now. It didn't happen. But when it's happening now. Sound, the sound of consciousness in intimate conscious communion with its eternal presence. The sound of infinite present time in continuous celebration. This sound I'm hearing as I'm practicing meditation for long hours at night. I'm living in Queens, New York. It's a winter night, and I had gone out for a walk near JFK Airport just to do some exercise, and I came back into the house where I was living. I was married at the time and had the daughter and living with our mother-in-law. So everyone in the house was quiet, gone to bed. So I would spend from 12 o'clock midnight to about 6 in the morning in deep meditation. This particular morning before going in meditation, I'd walked by the airport, come back, and I remember taking my coat off and getting ready to go into meditative sitting. And I was making eye contact with myself in the mirror, very one-focused. And next thing I know, I was enveloped in this hearing experience. It sounded like many layers of brass instruments, like an orchestra of brass instruments, weaving this timeless cacophony, celebrating. It's so beautiful, and it was like the music of a cosmic reunion. So it felt like all my beloveds are together. Everything beautiful in the universe is right now. It's like a grand cosmic reunion. And as this music is just washing through my awareness, I'm aware, meditative understanding of eternity, of the unity of all things now. And some of me stepped outside of this and started asking, well, how can we record this? What can we do with this experience? And there was nothing I could do with it except when it faded, just sense that, wow, here is a model for what I wanted to do with my music, is do music that allows the listener to have a memory call of eternity, of infinity, of the oneness of the universe. And so that experience showed me the higher direction of my musical performance.
When different people describe their enlightenment period, then usually there are two ways or like two outcomes. They either feel certain discomfort or like a chaos, and at the same time they feel this bliss and happiness. How was it with you when you started your spiritual journey?
How was it with me? One term for that experience of someone opening to a fuller sense of their cosmic identity while they're in a family or a relationship or they're in some kind of community that doesn't easily understand what's going on. One name for that experience is called spiritual emergency. Mm-hmm. Spiritual emergency. And or crisis, because you're surrounded by people you have a heart connection with, yet you see in a new frequency. And when you try to use words to describe it, it's difficult. It's almost like trying to describe the third dimension to a two-dimensional object. So the best you can do is, one is be loving and stay centered and open. Have your dantian is open when you're breathing. Keep your breath connected and stay as centered as you can if you have a centering experience. So that's what I had in place when this happened. A way of breathing and staying centered. And the more I do that, the more I'm receiving the nutrition from this cosmic identity explosion going on. And that compensates for any lack of embracing from people who don't understand me. People don't know how to embrace me, know how to love me, or know how to make space for me. I guess I'm fortunate to have many people in my personal life who have high spiritual values. So friendliness and compassion are still there. Some people in my life have not understood and have been hurt. They felt hurt. And there are two things going on. Your actions are hurting someone, and you are moving more into the light where you realize there are no othernesses, that everything vanishes, even all relationships. And what remains is the pure I am. And if my actions are moving into embracing the I am presence, everything that I give up and forfeit along this way is, in meditative understanding, is not loss. I'm not losing that because everything is vanishing already. The compassionate enlightenment is to remember loving, to be loving. If someone's around me and I don't accept their behavior, I'm reminded that I still have the option of being loving in that person's presence. If I'm disappointed in someone and I want to change them, I'm reminded that's not my role here. My role is just to be loving in their presence. So that's my role too. If someone has difficulty understanding me, I can still be loving and still breathe in their presence. And as a result, if I do this through my music, I tend to find more people who are open to my place. They can see whatever's going on with you, it's producing this good music that I feel good around. So my music has been a way of saying things that I can't say in words and helping people to understand something I can't explain in words. They can feel it. This is also a time for contemplation, isn't it? Mm-hmm. For stillness.
Yes. This is how I started my journey back in 2012. I woke up, I did my purification kriyas, and I sat with 3 bowls of tea.
3 bowls? Mm-hmm. In the morning?
Yes. And then after that I started my day. So it was like a daily practice, or like setting a tone for your day.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why you had to come to Estonia, so I could introduce you to tea. How do you feel? Is this taste somehow...
To be as spontaneously honest as possible, tea is not the easiest way for me to drink water.
That's polite and beautiful.
And it's probably me, because I've been around many friends who enjoy this tea and enjoy that tea. Now, ginger tea is a tea that I can get into. I'm very aware of it. But I must say, of all the elegant teas I've tasted, I'm a country bumpkin. I haven't really... There's something about my tea aptitude that has yet to be developed, I think.
But is this taste somehow familiar to you, or rather not?
No, it does not taste like a familiar tea. Not like bancha, not like green, not like peppermint. It tastes like fermented leaves. Okay. Burr. How do you call it?
Puer.
Burr.
Mm-hmm. If you'd had to describe this taste somehow, how take a few sips and share your thoughts.
Robust, earthy.
Earthy.
Earthy. Robust, earthy.
I think earthy is one of my favorite words to describe this kind of dark shoe puer, because it really is earthy. It gives you this rooted feeling, like the balance.
Yes.
And at the same time, we can talk about energies, but at the same time it has a fragrance, a taste, and a temperature. So if you let yourself to meet with this tea or with this herb, with this plant medicine, and you create a space where you are still and just gently pour this sacred liquid into your body, mm-hmm. then it gives you this sensation of being balanced or being in the center. And if you are still enough or repeat that ceremony with yourself or with others, then gently you are growing into the state where you can feel other energies combined. So, but it is earthy.
But at the same time,
gives you...
I'm having this softeningly expanded awareness as this very subtle energy field right here. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, from my experience, what it does and what is so important for human beings in this on this planet is that it gives you roots but at the same time gives you wings and opens up your kind of, how do you call it, like nadis from up here.
Did you say nadis?
Yes.
How were you guided to use bur this time?
I kind of sat down after your concert yesterday night in the same place actually where you are sitting in this moment. I was just sitting, asking for guidance if we are meant to meet, then what would be the most supporting medicine for us. I chose this temple gate, which comes from my teacher, from the Sage Hut, and I'm so happy to share this with you. So
You look happy. There's one fun thing I like to do when I start traveling. I make a list of 7 things that I'm open to have happening.
oh wow.
While doing a thing like change my career direction or be abducted by a UFO. Things that were way out. And one thing I've never thought to include was a tea ceremony. That is unique. It's like my tour bucket list. With Elena.
With Elena.
Elena.
Super grateful to be in this moment with you. Guided by tea.
Have you heard of Bija mantras?
Come again, what mantras?
Bija, the seed mantras. Let's say that there are 5, 6, 7 of them. They relate to energy centers in the body. Like the base root chakra, Bija syllable is lam, and the color is red. And the second is vam, and it's orange. The third solar plexus is ram, and the color is yellow. Then we come up to the heart. The color is green, and yum. And the throat is hum, and the color is blue. The third eye is sham, the color is indigo. And then last is om, violet. So you can forget all of that and just use the sound to vibrate our energy body. I'm going to do them very quickly. You can repeat, like thinking the root chakra. Lam 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 lam. I'm coming to the second energy center. Color is orange. Vam 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 vam. Third energy center, the solar plexus. The color is yellow, and the sound is ram. Ram, 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 ram. I come up to the heart center. The sound is yam. The color is green or quartz crystal pink. Yum, 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 yum. Throat chakra. Color is blue. The sound is hum. area, the middle of the brain, between the eyebrows. The color is indigo. The color is shum. Shum, 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 shum. Finally, the crown chakra, at 8 inches above the head. The color is violet, violet, and the sound is Om.
This podcast of ours, actually I'm hosting this with my friend. He's called Veiko. He's not here obviously at the moment because we also do shifts, like he's hosting something alone and me, so
That's good.
so yeah, but this podcast is in Estonian, and in translation our podcast is called About Love.
About love?
Yes.
Yes.
And there's one question that we always ask from the one who's sitting with us. And the question goes like this. What is your first memory with love?
How I am inspired to answer your question, Elena. My first remembrance of love, feeling love, is a beautiful setting. My mother walking me on a sunny day before school started, before I was school age. She would take me across town to visit our relatives, our aunts. And it required going under a train to a long tunnel when I would sing. Then we'd come out the other side and there was this large field of clovers. And we would walk through it. And because I was small, because I was closer to the ground. And I would remember walking through the clover fields and my mother standing there and letting me have fun, and she was dressed in her flowery dress. And I remember that connection with my mother, just feeling her presence in my life, how lovely, how beautiful. And I guess the feeling at that time was what I would call love, feeling it or being conscious of this beautiful feeling, this beautiful sensation. This, it was a mother-son thing, or it was just me being aware of the beautiful gift of life, and I was just focusing it all onto my mother, projecting on my mother. But the clover fields, the sun, me just having had fun with the tunnel. Maybe this tunnel opened up my consciousness because there was a big reverb in there. And so that comes to mind, the sunlit clover fields with my mother. Thank you for asking that.
That's beautiful.
And you?
Wow. Actually, no one has ever asked me back.
The first time you felt consciously that this is love, or you felt sure that this is love?
I'm totally amazed that you asked this from me at this point. And it kind of brings me to two answers, actually. One might sound a little bit sad, I think, but it's not. And this would be my second answer. Or like if there's A and B answer, this would be my B answer, that I haven't felt it. And it might sound sad, but at the same time, I don't know, I'm super surprised that it jumped into my head at this point.
That's your B answer?
Yes.
That you have not felt love? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there an A answer you do or do not want to share?
Yes, I'm going to share my A answer. And the A answer is like, there's always been love, or like I'm made of love, and there was never a certain point or story, because all the stories or all the details or little things or big things are all combined. Like it's like a breath. Like when I took my first breath, I started living the life of love.
Yes.
But at the moment, I think I'm more amazed that you asked, and I just suddenly had 2 answers to it. So I also have to thank you for asking. I'm so happy that for some reason you said yes to come and share your music in snowy Estonia, and I'm super happy that you said yes to share tea in snowy Estonia. But there are doors opening if you're willing to say yes to invitations or questions. So I'm really happy to share space and heart with you. If someone at some point during this lifetime or during others is gonna ask about Tallinn, Estonia, tea, then what would you say? How would you describe this moment?
Pristine, cosmic, frequency, love, expansion, with tea setting the tempo and allowing a most warm and gentle ceremony, setting in a classic Estonian snowfall winter in a charming, transformed brick dwelling with a soft shaman lady exploring subjects of present time and tea, enriching because it is me opening to the new, being reminded of how non-destructive opening to the new can be, how vital it is for growth and maintaining balance. This ceremony is about my trusting a new experience and coming through this ceremony with a heightened sense of divine intelligence present here, revealing very reassuring energy. This place was plucked from the far edges of my imagination months ago when I was told this was on my tour. I didn't know where Estonia was, or Tallinn, never heard the names. And so it was on the edge of my imagination until yesterday and today, when people in real bodies with real smiles, real eyes, showed up in my Estonian visit. So now Estonia is no longer on the edge of my imagination. It is living and breathing and smiling and laughing and sipping tea and driving cars, to that feeling of very far and unknown place in the world becoming a vivid, living, breathing environment. Estonia. And I see a nice little mbira, kalimba there.
Do you want to try it?
Yes.
I'm going to bring it to you. It was my Christmas gift. I actually got to say what I want for Christmas. And I said it's that.
Santa Claus. It's lovely. Woo.
tule sisse. Meiega liitub fotograaf Rene Altrov. Tõmba niimoodi nagu järsku, niimoodi otse tundega. Yes. Tule, ära tunne ennast kuidagi kohmetult, tule täitsa rahulikult edasi. Kallen sulle ka teed.